The following show features episodic breakdowns of Jackass, either performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. For your safety, avoid listening to this podcast at all times. Hi, I'm Mikey Aaronworth.
I'm Jason Wellwood.
And I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Welcome to Jackass.
Welcome to Jackass. It's the podcast where we're on a path of destruction through every single episode of the TV show formerly known and soon to be known again in the near future when they reboot it as Jackass.
We are three lifelong fans of the show, reliving the belly laughs, bad ideas, and broken bones. Did I say three, Jay? Did I say three?
I don't know. I was just trying to pad it out, because the other guy's not here. And by the way, there's a lot of snakes in this episode. And I'm starting to see a correlation here. I'm not convinced this is just coincidence that it's just me and you today, buddy.
I agree. I think Chris, obviously another co-host of this podcast. He's been absent for this week and the last week. I say coast, more like a ghost. Am I right? Because he's not even here.
Yeah.
And I imagine that he's just spooked by all the goddamn snakes in these episodes.
I
miss him. But you know what?
Yeah,
you know what I'm liking, Jay?
What?
Just you and me being buds.
Yeah.
Just you and me being buds, talking WildBoyz.
We are buds.
We are buds.
buds.
It's a shame though, because Chris wasn't here to see your reign of being champion for predicting that the WildBoyz were going to Australia last week, and he's not here to see my reign of having predicted that this week we're going to Florida. I got it right.
Yeah.
I said the United States, so I could have been more specific, but I think generally speaking,
okay, well, wait a
when
minute.
I say the US, it means Florida.
No.
Where else is it going to be?
There's No, it could have been Idaho. It could have been fucking Mississippi. It could have been New York.
What part of New Zealand did you predict
maybe.
It was going to be in?
New Zealand's kind of like Australia. It's just,
It doesn't have cities?
It's a land
because that's
mass.
what you're
No.
saying. Yeah.
No. Well, how would you know?
That's true. We've never been there.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe it doesn't even exist. Maybe Australia and New Zealand are just a joke that people have been telling on us.
I'm not convinced.
Telling us.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced either. But this episode, it's season 2, episode 6 of WildBoyz that we're going to be focusing on today. This episode came out a lovely balmy day, actually. I think it was probably balmy. It was May 30th, 2004. This is a special one because you and I, Jay, actually did an episode of Viva La Bam that coincided with the release of this episode. So I've already done a fun fact for this. And now I'm kind of starting to see the trouble that Chris is running into trying to find fun facts. So here's a game I'm going to play with you, Jay.
Okay.
Last week, I asked you on this day, I guess it would have been May 23rd, 2004, what songs were at the top of the charts for both the US and the UK?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you again this week, and I'll say they're the same. So this fact of the day is more of a test of your memory, Jay. What was the number one song on the charts in both the US and the UK?
Yeah, my memory is shit. So I know it was a hip hop track, right?
Kind of. I mean, I think hip hop fans would probably hate me for saying that,
it's
but
poppy.
I think
okay.
Yeah, it's more of a like a R&B. Let's call it R&B.
Was it Jay-Z?
It was not Jay-Z, and Jay-Z fans would hate you for calling him R&B, I think.
Why? Well, yeah, you were the one who fucking said R&B. Come on, don't
but I
throw
didn't
that on
say
me.
Jay-Z. I didn't say Jay-Z.
Look.
I'll say this. Your memory is so bad, you might have to burn it to the ground. Okay. Does that give you any clues?
No.
No?
Because here, I'll tell you, I'm so fucking, I should know better because I love music, but I think I just have a blind spot for anything that around this era wasn't punk rock because that's mostly what I listen to. But
I hear you.
Just tell me. Just go ahead. Just tell me.
It's Burn by Usher.
Usher.
And in the US, and in the UK, it was FURB by Frankie, and that's not pronounced Furby. It's pronounced Furb, and it stands for fuck you right back. I explained the story of that in last week's episode. I'm not going to do it again.
Look, I'm sure Jay-Z and Usher hung out at some point. They went to the club together. They've associated with each other. I'm sure it's happened.
You know what?
Give me a break.
They have a song called Hot Toddy. So
Ooh,
yeah,
Hot
you know
Toddy.
what? You're probably right. It's I'll read you some of the lyrics.
Okay.
Here we go. They call me King Hove. Copy. They call me King Hove. Copy. They call me King Hove. Copy.
Loud and clear over here.
They call me King Hove. Copy. And those are the first 4 lines of the song, and I'm sure we'll revisit that at some point later in the episode, but I'll leave you with that as how that song actually went.
Okay. Would you like the recipe for a hot toddy? I have that handy if you want to keep. You don't want to dig a little 100%.
Deeper. What is your recipe for a hot toddy? Because I know a lot of people do a lot of different things for hot toddies.
Okay, so according to UrbanDictionary.com, brandy. You can make it with brandy or whiskey, but here's the brandy one, folks. Write this down. Get your pens out. 1 tablespoon of honey, 3/4 glass of tea, 2 shots of brandy, 1 slice of lemon.
Sounds pretty good.
I'm not going to give you the whiskey one. We're going to let you figure that out on your own because we've got more important things to talk about, don't we?
We do. Nice transition there, Jay. What do we have to talk about this week?
Florida. Ugh. Look, if you're from Florida, I got no beef with you. It's just more of a Mikey thing because he's claiming he got it right. Now I have to be dissatisfied naturally, but we're going to Florida. True. I'll go along. I'll kick and scream all the way there, but I'll go. The murky swamps and subtropical dampness of Florida, a place where everybody has swass all of the time. And I, of course, don't know what the gentle embrace of humidity feels like because I live in an arid climate where everybody has to use extra virgin olive oil for blowjobs. Okay, ready? Let's go. We're off the coast of Key West, Florida here. And this is Batfish waters? Batfish? One
Batfish. Make up your mind. Are you flying or are you swimming? You can't do unless you're a flying fish. You can't do both. We know that.
Yeah, but am I the only one getting Dr. Seuss vibes here? 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish,
batfish, blue fish.
Yeah, batfish.
Yeah.
I don't know. The head of these things, they look like the fish themselves look like the head of some sort of alien I've seen in like Star Wars or something. I swear to God. Which got me thinking immediately, Mikey, was, hey, that alien looks like a hot guy. Yeah, we better have sex with him.
Yeah, according to SteveO, yeah, in an inner tube, too.
You've never seen men in black who like to have sex with each other?
Wait, just generally speaking, have I seen 2 men dressed in black who want to have sex with each other? Do I have to answer that question on air?
You don't have to answer it, but somewhere Norm Macdonald is rolling over in his grave.
Yeah. I do like that Norm Macdonald joke. I think we've actually brought up that Norm Macdonald bit before on this podcast, which I don't mind because I'll talk about Norm Macdonald all day.
It's from one of my favorite movies of all time, Dirty Work. You got to watch Dirty Work if you haven't seen it, folks. Classic film.
It's a great movie.
But speaking of these fish, Manny says this fish has the face of a toad, and SteveO naturally just wants to make out with the fish. So that's the bit, I guess. What do you think?
Does it flip into an inner tube, and then Manny comes up from the depths with another, I said this before on last week's episode, enough, ocean. You're on notice. Stop with your gross shit. We don't want to see anything more. Blowfish are weird enough, and now you just keep reaching your hand in there and getting us grosser and grosser fish. I don't want to see it. It's a clownfish or a goldfish or a whale or a dolphin or a shark. That's all I want to imagine in the ocean.
Right.
I have a hard enough time with that. Don't show me these fucking puddles of muck that you pick up that just so happen to have eyes and make SteveO kiss them. I'm done with it.
It was pretty hot though, right?
I would fuck it right now if you put it here. But then again, that's just me.
Listen.
So much so, Jay, this is a peek behind the curtain.
Okay.
This, if you're watching on YouTube,
what is that doing there at your desk?
On my computer desk. I'm holding up for the camera a toilet paper roll. And I don't need to go into any more details than that. I'm a private, solitary individual. And sometimes I blow my nose while I'm at work. I don't know.
All I want to know is, does your dick fit in there? Like in the roll?
Let's test it out. I'll report back at some point of the episode.
Yeah, it's okay. You just put up a slate on screen that says, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
We'll come back with a report. Message from our sponsors. Now, listen, guys, Mikey's sick of the swamps and the sick creatures coming out of the depths. I'm sorry to tell you, buddy, we're going deeper into those murky depths right now to meet the Goliath grouper, which, if you catch 2, you get a third one 90% off. Wait. That was a Groupon reference. That's what that was.
Jay, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was a Jew joke because you're saying like they like deals and savings because this
of course
is,
you would think that, yeah.
Well, because I am Jewish, and I've there's been a lot of part Jewish. There's a lot of anti-Semitism in the news right now, and I was like, oh shit, we caught another one. Oh fuck, Jay's on that side. But the reason I say that is because did you catch that? The other name for the Goliath grouper is the Jewfish. That's what they called them.
Oh really?
Yes, they say that at the beginning of the that's why I thought you were making that connection. The Goliath grouper was originally called the Jewfish. I thought I misheard it, so I actually did a bit of research on it. And some accounts say that it was actually supposed to be jawfish for its big jaw, and that it was just like a phonetic mispronunciation from jawfish to Jewfish, and that's it just kept. Other people think that it had more anti-Semitic roots in there. Other people think it was just a kosher fish that was sold, so it was just this is the kind of fish that Jewish people will eat. So a little bit hard to tell, but in order to avoid the issue, they just said, you know what? Let's just not call it that anymore, and we'll change it.
I'm just wondering what happened to the good old days where we could all appreciate a good Groupon reference without having to get all political about it.
Yeah, exactly. Why so in depth? I don't like it.
I don't know, man. But that's quite the history, and I could see how that name, like you said, got mixed up along the lines. It was a game of telephone there, and somewhere along the lines, one of those guys in the line was a racist, and there you go. Now it's just
and that's why I am petitioning that we need to change the name of Cracker Barrel because
ooh, I kind of like it though. I like a good cheese.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, hey man, we are the demographic, so
yeah.
I mean, it
speaks to us pretty
we
well.
We can speak about this on the podcast, and nobody can come in here
can hear it?
Try to. Yeah, you know who we need here for this conversation
Chris?
right now? Yeah. He'd handle this one.
Yes,
way better.
Chris would just take it another level. He'd be like, he would take me seriously when I said we should actually. You know what I'm really curious about,
What?
honestly. If we say that the name of Jewfish was changed from Jewfish to something else, because Chris has also spoken up about how much the anti-Semitism in the world right now upsets him. But he also says, fuck name changes. We don't need to do this. People are too sensitive. I wonder where he lands on this. If he's like, we should have just kept the name Jewfish, or like he goes all Alex Jones on us. I don't know.
Chris, if you're listening, report back next week.
Yeah. Let us know next week.
Do people
this is another trap we're going to set him. When we've done this before on the episodes where Chris isn't involved, we've put a trap for him so that when he listens to it, he'll bring it up in the recording. And we've like asked like a trivia question and we've given the answer to it. And then we ask him on the following episode. He never knows. He doesn't listen.
Yeah. We're like that shitty guide in the Amazon. Just pit traps everywhere. So these fish, though, the Goliath grouper, extremely territorial and aggressive, and they weigh up to, did they say 1,000 pounds? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, they're fucking massive. If you've ever been to an aquarium, there's an aquarium in Toronto, the Ripley's Aquarium. It's right near the base of the CN Tower.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it's really cool. And
believe it or not, it's at the base of the.
Believe it or not, it's right at the base. It'd be cooler if it were at the tip. That'd be really neat. But the like if the dome of the CN Tower were actually just like a big goldfish bowl, like a fish bowl, you can see all the stuff inside.
Okay, we're reading too much into this one now.
But
I do like it though.
They do have Goliath grouper in there, and they are like I'm 6'2", and they're like taller than me. Like they're taller and obviously bigger because I don't weigh 1,000 pounds.
But when Manny gets attacked by this thing and it grabs his arm is lost in that maw. And like they're big fish. I'm serious. Yeah. Bigger than Manny. And he gets a hold of him. He's trying to pull the fish with him up to the surface to try to escape. And the way he tells the story here to the boys about what happened, we're watching the footage as he's telling the story after the fact. He plays this so cool.
So cool.
But you can tell in the footage, he was a little panicked, as you would be. Yeah, just imagine like having that thing fucking sucking on your arm. Jeez, man.
It's terrifying. And in my mind, when I'm watching this, I'm like, that would be very scary. And it would hurt, even though they don't really have like teeth. Like if anyone's gone fishing and they have like, you catch a bass, they have that like sandpaper kind of thing on the bottom of their mouth. I'm assuming this is kind of the same, but it's harsh enough that it's giving him cuts. Like you can see there's blood coming off. But more than anything, when I'm watching it, I'm thinking like, you know, it's fine. If he doesn't panic, he's okay. Because I'm imagining him scuba diving, and it wasn't until he got to the surface that I realized he was snorkeling. and he's got 1,000 pounds of fish on his arm. If that thing doesn't let go, like he's dead, right? Like you cannot carry that thing up to the top if it doesn't want to go up to the top with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think of the snorkeling element, but you're right. I kind of just assumed that he had a dive tank and all that. But yeah, I think you're right. He was just holding his breath that whole time, which is like impressive.
Scary as hell. Because like, what's your first reaction when 1,000-pound fish bites you? I'm screaming my fucking head off. I don't care.
Yeah.
And there's all the air in my lungs.
Like
gone.
Instinctively, right? Like that would be it. You wouldn't be able to. Yeah. Fuck. That's crazy, man. But the lesson we learn at the end of this, as Manny says, is never use force against animals, unnecessary force, which Pontius says he never will. He vows not to. And that's good because, as we all know, Pontius is one. He's a bit of a muscle man himself. So
yeah, I think he could straight up punch a grouper in the face and it would go down.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It would go down, Jay, for the count, which is what they do in this next part of the segment.
Oh, because we're going to count the spots on the foreheads of the fish in the neck. Oh, Mikey. Now listen. This is a fucking Dr. Seuss book, right? I mean, this episode is one fish, two fish. What are we doing here? We're counting spots on fish now?
We're counting spots on fish. You know what I was so distracted by, Jay? I couldn't even watch this segment. And it kind of, not to keep bringing this back up, did you notice the song they used in the segment?
I mean, politically correct Jay will say, no, Mikey, I didn't notice at all. But I mean, listen, I don't know about you, but when I'm watching these big fish devour Pontius, latch onto his arm and try to carry him deep into the depths of the unknown to lay eggs in his brain or whatever they do, are you also getting bar mitzvah vibes?
It's absolutely bar mitzvah vibes.
Have a Nagila. Heck, I'll have two.
It's a Jewfish, and they're playing off a Nagila in the background. I was like, all right, bold move, bold choice.
Little bold.
Again, doesn't offend me, but I was like, wow, they're really going for it. They're really going for it. It did remind me, because this is I've been to a lot of bar mitzvahs in my time, a lot of butt mitzvahs as well. And the one thing that no one talks about is the fact that sometimes when you're dancing, a giant goblin does come and bite your arm and try to drag you into the coat closet. And that's just something you have to deal with. So it makes sense that they were playing this song, because this segment did remind me of that.
That is how you become a man. It's the only way I know. Anyway,
it's the only way. Yeah.
Wait, is that when it involves a closet? Let's not get into it. Let's not get into it.
We won't. Yeah.
So David Weathers is here. He's a venomous snake expert. As we know, did you know, Mikey, though, he's also the GM of a zoo?
That makes so much sense to me, because I've compared him to Tiger King before, and now I'm like, oh, so I was just 100% correct about that. Like that's who he is. He is the Tiger King of Florida, which to this day, it baffles me that Tiger King was not based in Florida.
Yeah, and you're right. He's got the vibe of the kind of guy who, he's got a few animals in that zoo that there ain't no papers for those animals. Let's just say that.
No, I don't think
but
so.
Man, are they making him a lot of money, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. But hey, he does work with a lot of dangerous animals, legal or not, and there's a wiener in my butt. Now, I had to think, was this a Ron Burgundy like teleprompter situation? SteveO's giving the speech, and he just throws in that line that I just said, there's a wiener in my butt, as if he was reading it off a cue card.
That's so true. I was so caught off guard that the teleprompter, like the Ron Burgundy thing, is perfect, but it jarred me. Like I felt physically ill when he started, because he's just doing the regular segment and immediately cuts to, like, he's trying to Manchurian candidate us, like give a code and speak to us and activate us. And there's a wiener in my butt. And I was like, where the fuck is he going with this? Also, I was pretty focused on Knoxville in the background because, hey, Johnny Knoxville's here.
Hey, buddy, what's up? He just kind of appears, doesn't he, out of nowhere. And he's here for most of the episode. So it's good to see him pop in every now and then. But it's time, Mikey, to whip it good and whip this wiener out of that man's ass. Now,
hey, Jay, did you say SteveO or Devo?
Oh, man, it was so obvious, and I didn't even write that one down. Well done. Well played again. But SteveO gets a good whip in here, and the second whip that he takes cuts him up real good. You hear the snap. It was gnarly, man. Just the crack of that whip, breaking the sound barrier. He's on the ground, rolling around, screaming, and after this, they don't even continue. But the wiener did get, as Knoxville puts it, circumcised at the end of the day, so mission complete.
Mission complete. This looked so like just the sound of that whip is so fucking angry. Did you notice though, Jay, when David Weathers was doing the whip, Knoxville like signals to him behind SteveO as if to say like, just fucking hit him in the ass. And that's when he does it. So I think David Weathers probably feels a bit bad because SteveO literally just walks off set. He's like, I'm fucking done. And part of me wonders, because I don't know if I'm reading too much into this, but it seems like the relationship between SteveO and Johnny Knoxville, like going back to the Cribs episode and going back to the contract negotiations before Jackass Forever, is there like bad blood between SteveO and Knoxville? And is it a part of Knoxville being like, yo, just suck it up and do it? Like maybe SteveO was hard to work with in some of those stunts. I'm not sure. Did you pick up on any of that, or am I crazy? Two different questions.
Okay, so SteveO's attitude, first of all, I kind of was wondering while they did this, what did he expect? Yeah, obviously it hurt real bad, so I get why you just kind of be turned off from the whole thing after taking a hit like that. But he had to have known that it wasn't going to be like a clean hit, right? So, and you're right, we've seen that a lot where he does that again in this episode a couple times, but he walks off and he's like, I'm done. And having Knoxville there as part of the puzzle, it seems to be like he is the dangerous element, like he is the fire starter, if you will. So I don't know how to answer do you think here, I'll counter it with another question. With SteveO's attitude and the way that sometimes he kind of loses it on set, like, how do you think the crew feels about it? Do you think it really, this doesn't to me feel like when Preston does it, everybody seems to get bummed out. When SteveO does it, he seems to get over it fast enough that I think everybody's like, yeah, just give him time and he'll come back. I don't know if it ruins the production or like sucks the fun out of things much as
it definitely puts an end to it. And,
do you think so?
It's funny you bring up Preston, because there's a moment later in this episode that we'll talk about where in my notes, I'm like, SteveO goes full Preston and it ruins it all. And I don't know if it's a Knoxville with SteveO thing, like he acts differently when Knoxville's on set, but here's the thing. Yeah, he probably got hurt so bad. And it's so easy for me to sit here and say this as someone who would never take a whip to the ass. But Knoxville never does that. He never walks upset. He never ruins the bit. He's always game.
Okay. Yeah,
and I think that must weigh on Knoxville to the point where he probably needles him a little bit more than he should, to be like, see, he can't handle it. He can't hang. Maybe not. I don't know. But in this case, when SteveO walks out, does the production team hate it? I don't know, but what I do know is that was the end of the stunt. There is no scene where he comes back. So how quickly did he recover? Who knows?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I feel like with Knoxville though, he definitely does. Like I said, he causes shit sometimes, but I think like at the end of the day, again, going back to what I said initially, SteveO should know what he's in for. And if Knoxville does push it a little extra further, can you really blame him?
No, I'm team Knoxville on this, because the one thing you can't say, like, he does it. He, like, everything he dishes out, he takes. And in our project of going back and watching all this Jackass content, the one thing that I realized more than ever is how much of a badass Knoxville is. He's not just the face because he's got a nice fit, not just the face of Jackass because he's got a nice looking face. He's the face because he legitimately is the most gnarly of anyone, except for maybe Danger Aaron right now.
Yeah. So, okay. I will say this, though, on SteveO getting upset and kind of like, fuck it, I'm done, throwing in the towel. He does seem to know, though, to walk off set and go sulk on his own. Whereas when I look at a Preston situation, it kind of feels like he wants everyone to know that he's having a bad time.
He wants to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was kind of getting at, where I feel like
that's true.
Even if SteveO's going to, because if I was in one of those situations, I probably at some point or another would feel like SteveO and be like, fuck this, I'm out. Like, I'm not going to
100%.
Yeah.
I would never be able to hang with Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I may say this about SteveO. I don't have it in me to not walk off set every single time.
So were they doing the Jewish thing intentionally? Because, I mean, we got talk about a circumcision of a wiener. We got the fish. We got the music. What's going on here?
It's who knows? And I don't know if there's a large Jewish population in Florida. Maybe a lot of retirees. Who knows? But maybe that's where they got the idea.
All those Jewish retirees listening to Jackass. You bet.
Exactly.
You betcha.
Yeah.
Alligator Earrings is up next. Here we go, baby. You thought the scorpion Botox was good on the last episode. Wait till you see this. This right here is Pontius showing that you don't have to murder an animal to wear it in style.
Hey, well said. This is nasty. Like, he just takes two fucking alligators on his ears, two baby alligators, and wears them like earrings. Not much to say about it apart from the fact that this looks gross. He's bleeding. I guess he can do like you said you were into, the punk rock scene in the early 90s. Like you could put a bunch of safety pins in his ears after this.
And yes, you could. And I don't know if you caught this before the segment ends. Did you get that little sexy boy pout at the camera that he does?
Oh yeah.
Hey, what's that all about?
What's that about? That's the reason I got the toilet paper by my computer, Jay.
All right. Well, how about, you ever been to the Everglades, Mike? You ever been to Florida? I guess I should ask you first.
I've been to Florida. I stay as far away from the Everglades as I can. Nothing for me there.
You don't like the big beasts of the Everglades, if you will, the crocs.
Nope. I don't like the big things. I don't like the little things. I don't like anything in between. I just want to stay as far away from the Everglades as I possibly can. But if you can get me on a fan boat outside of the Everglades, I'm game. Those things look fun as fuck.
They do look like fun. And they put one to good use here because it is swamp research time after all. What better way to research the swamps than to water ski through them? SteveO going for a ride behind one of those propeller boats. And, he's pretty good. Like, he hasn't even lost. He's wearing like a fucking piece of fabric over his junk. It's like a loincloth.
And sunglasses that he doesn't lose.
Yeah,
and
there
he's
you go.
Water skiing for dear life. Hell yeah.
He is. And apparently you can get cut up doing this pretty bad because of the foliage here. The foliage.
Yes, foliage. Yeah. Yeah. Good Simpsons reference. You were just referencing Marge and Lisa.
So what did you think of this?
This is peak WildBoyz. You do not get better than this stunt. This is perfect. And it immediately starts where SteveO's in the water, which honestly, getting in that water is scary enough. Like that, props for SteveO for just sitting there. But the camera kind of lingers when the boat takes off. And I'm like, why is this camera lingering? It's because when he took off, there was an alligator right beside him that just like went in the water as SteveO went back up on the wall. I don't know if they knew it was there and they wanted the shot like that. But the whole idea of hanging on and water skiing behind a fan boat, in my mind, like I've water skied on lakes, and when you fall in the lake and you're just kind of waiting there for the boat to turn around, that minute and a half where the boat's like going the other way, there's an instinctive fear in you that can't help but be a little bit scared. You're in the center of a lake. There's nothing that can hurt you. It's a lake. But in the Everglades, when you're sitting there and the boat has to come back and get you, everything is probably trying to hurt you. Like there is no way to calm yourself down there. It looks fucking scary.
Yeah, man. As Pontius put it, scary things. Scary things. Were you as much of a fan of this one as I was? I thought it looked like fun. I was impressed by SteveO's athleticism here on display. Very, very nicely done. There is a shot there where he's laying in the swamp and, they kind of cut to an alligator for a second just to kind of, spice up the video a little bit. Yep. I don't think he was in any immediate danger, but overall it looked good, and I like that they had another one of those segments where they cut away and do some music for a while in the background and kind of get the energy back up. So I liked it. I wouldn't say I was in love with it, but it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. Good time.
It was a lot of fun. Fun is a great way to define. It was like a popcorn sketch. You don't learn anything about the Everglades, but it's fun to watch them just do something I would never in a million years do. So here's me after just taking the piss out of SteveO a little bit, giving him all the props in the world for doing this one.
Totally. And I forgot about something, but a couple episodes back, a few at least now, but we had talked about rating every WildBoyz, naked run to the sunset sketch. Yes. We haven't had one of those since, have we?
We had one, and it was when you had missed a recording, and we had one. Okay. And it was, I think, just Pontius filming one. But yeah, we've been missing out on those a little bit.
Yeah, I could use one of those right about now. I'm hoping next episode brings one, because unfortunately, I hate to report there ain't one here, but that's okay. Now,
yes.
Now, boy, let me tell you about something.
All right.
You son bitch, you like America?
If I'm a son of a bitch, you're talking about your woman like that, because I'm your son.
You son
been established.
You're my son bitch. You answer my question, boy. You like America?
I love America. I bleed America. I bleed blue. The doctor says it's bad. It's because of all the Slurpees I drink, but I say it's because I'm American.
You like, how about liberty and freedom?
Liberty, Daddy, you know not to come at me with those big words. Freedom, I understand. Liberty, what the heck are you? Is that like lip tards? Is that what they are?
No, it's freedom, boy. Freedom. Like America.
So why don't
freedom?
You just say freedom, Daddy? You know you ain't paid for homeschool in about 16 months.
I wrote it in the notes that way to make it more interesting. Like add a little.
Daddy, you know I don't read notes.
Well, let me ask you this, then, boy.
Yeah.
You like paying for your toiletries with Interac and American Express?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I don't go to study so much. I'm too busy paying for my toiletries. It's my favorite pastime.
You're damn right. Nothing more American than that right there.
Hell yeah.
You like fresh squeezed American peach juice?
What, you mean we're in Florida and you didn't say fresh squeezed Florida oranges?
Nah, boy. Peach juice. Fuck oranges. This
Peach
is America.
juice.
Peach juice.
Yeah, peach juice are great.
Yeah.
If it's American.
How about Lady Liberty? You like looking
Daddy,
up at Lady Liberty?
There's that word again that I don't understand. I don't know what that word means. Lady, I get.
Looking up at her in all her glory and might. Maybe getting a little glimpse up the skirt of Lady Liberty.
Yeah, you always showed me the ladies after you caught me with that one dirty magazine. I remember, Daddy.
I'm talking about the Statue of Liberty, boy. That age-old American Pootie Tang.
Yeah.
Boy,
I know her real well.
Well, then how about this, boy? How about the American alligator?
Oh, the American alligator? Alligator. I understand that word. And I understand America. Daddy, I think I like these things quite a bit.
You're damn right. God bless America. God damn.
Salute the flag.
The jaws of life are here, and this thing is the only animal that farts out of its mouth. Gotta love America.
Yeah, American alligators farting out their mouth. Hippos also do fart out of their mouth, though. They missed that. That is actually true. Hippos fart out of their mouth.
Kind of like you right now, right?
A lot of people say shit comes out of my mouth all the time. I don't know about farts, though.
Listen, we're in the marshlands of Florida with the snake expert and a movie star, Johnny Knoxville. By the way, the American alligator thing, that is over. You're probably wondering, why aren't they talking about it? Because there was literally nothing to talk about.
There was not much there. Yeah.
Yeah, it snapped
They
its jaws
introduced an
upon
American
us.
alligator. Yeah, that's it.
I just wanted to do a really long intro for something that lasted like 5 seconds on screen. So there you go, folks.
That's what I call my foreplay, Jay.
Aha!
A really long intro for something that lasts 5 seconds.
I see someone's privy. Boy, America. Listen, we're going back to Florida, like I said. Well, we haven't really left. We never really left. You can't leave once you go to Florida. You never return the same. With the snake expert and a movie star and Johnny Knoxville, I'm kind of wondering what's going on. Knoxville being the movie star, of course. This is the Cottonmouth water moccasin. This was at the point in the point in the show where I kind of had that thought, where the fuck is Chris? I'd love to get him a pair of these for maybe like a birthday present to wear around the house. You know,
to wear moccasins?
Yeah, it was a Cottonmouth water moccasin after all, Mikey. I mean,
yeah, you can wear water moccasins. Why not?
Sure. Why do they call it that, though? It's a snake.
No, because they have white mouths, and I didn't know that. I actually learned something from WildBoyz today.
Yeah, but the moccasin part?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, no fucking idea. Here's the thing. Moccasins, I want to step right in those. Water moccasins, I don't want to step anywhere near those.
Okay. Fair enough. But listen, the snakes are good and all, but Knoxville makes a gooch reference here, and then my attention was just all about that for a while. So let's talk about the gooch for a second. First question, do snakes have gooches? And second, is it gooches or gooch like moose? Like, do you pluralize gooch if you're talking about more than one gooch?
Good question.
Gooch?
First of all, do snakes have a gooch? I think their entire underbelly is a gooch. I don't think there's any way around that.
Okay.
Because the gooch is kind of your underside, right? Between your taint
it's a long way to the butthole.
and your testes.
Yeah.
But what is the plural? Yeah, I think it would be, or you know what? Let's go with geech. Like
that sounds
gooch and
worse.
Geech. Like goose and geese. I think that would work.
Geech.
Yeah. Goose, geese, gooch, geech. Yeah.
I'll allow it for now, but yeah. So anyway, they're picking up the snake with a long stick, but this is a venomous snake. Let's not forget. Don't worry, everybody. Pontius is an expert. He has his own show, after all. So, I mean, there's all the proof you need.
Yeah, he's got 2 sticks. At this point in this episode, I was just thinking, like, you know, WildBoyz has, 5 or 6 seasons? At what point does just picking up snakes get stale? You know what I mean? Like, how many times can you do that? And I know that's like half of all nature shows, but I've never been fascinated by someone picking up a snake, and there's a lot of that in this show.
Okay, but then I got to question you. What else can we do? Because, I mean, the nature shows haven't even figured it out. Like, is there anything else that hasn't been thought of? I mean,
I don't know.
You can't get too close to the damn things.
I'm not creative, Jay. It's not on me to figure this out. Someone else do it so I can be entertained.
Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the segment. It's nice to see Knoxville here with the boys hanging out, making some jokes, doing some banter, but it doesn't really go very far. So
that's it.
But hey, Mikey, You feeling fruity?
We talking about the peaches again or what?
Not this time, baby. You
Not
want
this
to play
time?
with a shark? Well, call now to talk to local guy hotties in your area. 1-800-BANANA phone. Ring, ring.
I'm familiar with that line.
Uh-huh.
Did you say fruity because of lemons? Is that why you said it, Jay?
No, I don't. It was something to do with the animals. I got so caught up on that rant, I didn't write down what the animal was or why it was fruity. But
It's a lemon shark.
oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay, is this like a lemon party? Is there a connection?
it's exactly like a lemon party.
Okay, so these are like all 70-year-old sharks. Then is what you're.
You know, I've never actually
insinuating.
seen Lemon Party.
You're
That's
lucky.
that's the truth.
I can't unsee it.
I learned after Two Girls, One Cup that every time there's a thing going around, a video, I'm good. No thanks. It's like the ocean. Don't need to see it. I know the internet is full of gross things. I'm good.
I'm seeing it right now. It's burned onto my
Oh
retinas.
no, Jay, you're gonna lose focus.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. No, I've lost focus. Yeah. So SteveO and Pontius are in inner tubes, the PTSD boating with dad at the lake kind.
Yes.
And they've got some fish to feed to these fruity sharks. And yeah, I mean, after all, it doesn't take them long to just ditch the tubes and say air tubes are for sissies. Let's go feed some motherfucking sharks. They get in there, they do their thing. I don't know. It's another one of these ones that felt like it stopped a little short. What do you think?
Sometimes I'm just like, not every stunt in WildBoyz has a button on it. Like it's like a thing, like a thesis, like this is why we're doing what we're doing. And I guess it's unpredictable when you're dealing with animals, and there's just a lot of that. This one to me was about Manny being Manny. Like Manny's the one feeding the sharks. He's the one there. He's like angling them off with his hand.
Yeah.
This Manny was a G in this episode.
He was a G. Yes.
Yeah.
As our friends Jay-Z and
and Usher might say.
Usher might say, yes.
Yeah.
I'm cultured. Sock puppet snake time. It's Black Mamba back for another wake up. Did you catch who this was? I didn't recognize.
Seamus Frawley.
Okay, here's my question. How do you figure this out all of the time? Like how the fuck? You're a research mastermind. I don't know how you're doing this.
This one, he actually got a title card. He actually got a title card in this one. Yeah, he did. But it's funny because he's never been on the show before. And the look that he gives to the camera when he gets smacked by the Black Mamba sock puppet, he looks like, guys, I'm never on. Why are you doing this to me? Like, I'm not supposed to. You guys don't even know my name.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like he wouldn't be, but I like them establishing that because there's something about the set of Jackass or WildBoyz or any of these related properties where it just seems like being on it is a fucking scary thing, regardless of who you are. So knowing that everyone's fair game actually tickles me a little bit.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Again, you caught the subtitle. Clearly, I did not. Little too much lemon party, burned on the retinas, as discussed. But hey, how about this? I mean, you can't really go to Florida without getting crabs. You gotta have something to talk about when you come back.
Well done.
Yeah, and South Florida has lots of them. They're called stone crabs. So let's perform a little bit of an important, and then at this point, SteveO gets cut off in the middle of his speech to a screaming Pontius, who is already seconds after taking the stone crab out of the bin. He's already been snapped at with the pincer, and now he is no longer a fan of stone crab season.
This was maybe my favorite moment of the episode. It's so unprepared. Like it's just SteveO trying to intro a bit, and Pontius gets bit by a crab in the background after he's been bit. So the crab's hanging on with one hand, and then he like pulls it one hand, one claw, and Pontius pulls it off, and he like puts his hand down and looks towards the camera. If you're paying attention, that crab's other claw got very close to his dick. I was like, to me, never put that anywhere close to there. You got to be aware of that. It's like walking around with a gun. No matter what, loaded or unloaded, make sure it never points at anyone. That's the golden rule. When you're dealing with crabs, transmitted or otherwise, keep them away from your genitals.
It's like you're going into a PSA for a second there. When you're dealing with crabs.
When you're dealing with crabs.
Yeah. But yeah, I love that they just kept rolling though, because you could tell like they could have done another take, but they put this one in, and SteveO even cracks up a little, but he gets back on script and keeps going. I appreciated that. It was a good touch.
It was great. The thing I could not keep my eyes off of in this stunt was SteveO and Pontius's asses. They are pristine. Do you think that they wax because they know how often their ass is going to be on camera? Because like they don't. It's not, well, Pontius sometimes has like his full chest shaved and all that stuff. SteveO's isn't. Do you think that he like carefully shaves his ass to make sure that it's like palatable for the camera?
Palatable. Yeah.
Palatable, yeah.
I mean, they probably have to a little bit, if not just for the camera, maybe for the ladies that they're, meeting around the globe in all these different exotic locations like Florida. To your point too, Mikey, you said they shave their asses. Now, is it asses or ease?
Oh, that's a great one. It's got to be ease. It has to be ease. I'm a very inner hard E pluralizer.
Mm-hmm.
That everyone has always said that about me. And I won't have anyone speak anything else about it. The one thing that I've always had an issue with when it comes to shaving the ass, I'm a hairy dude.
Okay.
I've got a pretty hairy chest. My arms are hairy. I understand the inconvenience of a hairy asshole. I know they're not good to look at, but if I did shave it, do you have any concept of how weird that would look when I have hair all over my body except for my little asshole? That would be so weird.
Okay, I didn't need that visual. Thanks. Now I got to take that with me everywhere I go for the next week.
It'll replace Lemon Party. Yeah, it'll be good.
Is it I don't even know if that's a trade-off. Honestly, that's a noggin scratcher. But speaking of a noggin scratcher,
there are so many more little assholes in Lemon Party, wouldn't there be?
Oh, Mikey, you don't know the half of it. It's the worst, though. A nice, cleanly shaven asshole, then a day later, it comes back, and it comes back with a vengeance.
Oh,
let me tell you.
From my earlier days, I used to shave my chest, and I do know what that feels like. It feels like you have a bunch of like sandpaper in your ass. But only on one side. It's gross.
Yeah, there's an onboarding period. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So SteveO takes crab to ass, and that's pretty much the segment. And as soon as he said, we're going to try to replace fear and ignorance with respect and understanding, I just felt immediately like this is going to be someone's ass getting involved in a moment from now, right? Yeah.
It's weird to have a quote that, like, if you attributed that to Martin Luther King Jr., I would be like, yeah, I that's probably something he said, and then just have a crab pinch an ass. Like, it's just a weird juxtaposition.
Yeah, it took me a second to figure out what you were talking about, and I was like, what? Why the fuck would he be? Yeah, okay, the ignorance and fear part, maybe.
Yes,
but okay.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking. Not shaving asses and all that stuff.
Right.
Maybe he did. I don't know him. I didn't know him that well. He could have been into that stuff. I'm not sure.
We'll never know.
No.
We'll never know. But you know what, Mikey? We will know that when it's 12 a.m., sir, it is time to party. Now, speaking of that, before we get into this, do you feel, and is this strange to you? I'm just having this thought right now, but how come there's no party boy in WildBoyz? Don't you think there'd be ample opportunity to bring that shit in?
Man.
We've never seen it before. Not yet.
That's a good
anyway.
point. I'd be curious to ask Chris, because he's the WildBoyz expert, but he would know whether Party Boy ever makes an appearance. But maybe Party Boy and Wild Boy, they're just two. You cannot have those two things touch because it would be too powerful.
Yep. Rip a hole in the universe or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's what we'd be dealing with. I don't think we could handle it.
So instead, we get baby loggerhead turtles. Now, we're going to set them free, I think, maybe. We'll find out in a moment. But first, they catch, look, off in the distance, a female turtle crawling up the beach, ready to lay some of those eggs. To which they ask Manny here, which I loved, what about the male turtle? He just doesn't give a shit about this or what? No, he's too busy humping everything. That's all he does.
Manny just tells it like it is. It's great.
It's great.
This is like everyone who's seen Planet Earth knows what we're about to get into. The sea turtles the eggs are laid on the beach. They have to hatch on the beach, and then the turtles have to make their way from where they've hatched to the ocean.
Yeah.
And then you got a bunch of birds trying to eat them. And anyone who's played video games knows the cardinal sin is spawn camping. You don't do it. You give everyone a shot at surviving. And yet these birds are the biggest assholes in nature. They just spawn camp the shit out of they see one mother turtle lay the eggs, and then they just wait there for, I don't know how long turtles are in eggs for.
Yeah.
Fucking 3 months.
It's probably in the TMNT lore somewhere. We can dig that out.
Well, if you pour ooze on the eggs, they're hatching a lot quicker than that. We know that.
The problem with these fucking birds, though, is that they haven't left the nest yet. Everything is mom's problem. She doesn't understand me. She doesn't understand my games.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't
of course
get
she
it.
doesn't. She doesn't get it.
She doesn't know that I'm going pro one day. She doesn't know.
If I could make it past the bird that's trying to eat me. That's something you never hear professional human athletes say.
Sure.
I will go pro if the bird doesn't eat me.
Yeah. But you know what? all that really matters here in the sketch is that they named one of the turtles Pubes.
Pubes. Yes.
That's it.
You got Poncherelli, Sharky, Pubes, Gooch, Gina, Siffy, Beatty, and Foofer. Poncherelli's my favorite for sure.
Poncherelli. That's like an Italian. Maybe I'm just being,
I would have guessed Italian.
Stereotyping. Maybe. I don't know. You be the judge. But all I know is that these turtles are going to race until the break of dawn. And I can't imagine it's too exciting to watch, and that's why they didn't really include the race in the show. But Mikey,
Yes.
have you ever seen this in real life before? You ever had that opportunity?
To see sea turtles going from where they hatch to the ocean?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Is that a thing people have the opportunity to see?
I've seen it before.
Have you really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
I happened to be on vacation in Mexico once when it was happening, and then we were walking around the beach at night, and we started to notice. Now, it wasn't maybe quite as intense as you might see on the nature shows where it was just like swarms of turtles, but we would see them. They were starting to come out, and every now and then you'd see one crawl out, and it was magnificent, man.
That's
Beautiful
so
thing.
cool.
You could just sit there all night watching that shit.
I would have. I totally would have.
Yeah.
That's amazing. No, I have nothing funny to say about that. I'm jealous that you got to experience that.
It was a trip. It was a trip, man. But what's the name of that classic tune they're playing there? You know, with the horns and whatnot in the background?
Oh, what? I don't remember. I didn't clock the song. I'm not sure what it was.
You know what? I could mimic it and hum it right now, but for some reason, all I'm hearing now is that one from Die Hard. You know?
See, that's another one. That's Tchaikovsky, right?
Yeah, that's not the one they're playing.
Yeah.
This other one's like one they'd play at like a carnival or something like that. But I don't know. It was a good choice for the race.
Some good public domain music.
Public domain, baby. That's the only way to go. But next, the most vicious animal ever. Now, listeners, get your brains working. What could this be? If you had to guess, what's the most dangerous animal you can think of in Florida?
The humans, definitely the humans.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
There's no way that's not the answer.
We are assholes. We are little assholes, aren't we, Mikey?
We are little shaved assholes.
Yeah, but no, it's the otter. Yeah, go figure.
Yeah,
it's a predator. I guess it makes sense, but I wouldn't have thought of it as a predator. You know?
No. I mean, they kill fish, so I guess, but the wildest thing is them saying that otters sometimes kill gators.
Right.
How the fuck does that happen?
No idea. Literally no idea. They got to work in teams. They got to be like sitting back at the, I was going to say the Otter Dam. I don't know if they build dams, but let's just pretend they do for the sake of this experiment. So they're back at the Otter Dam. One of them rolls out like a piece of paper, and they got the blueprint there. They're all, breaking up into teams. They've named the teams, This will be Fuzzy. This is the Claw unit.
The Claw unit, yeah. This is the C unit, and that works because they're sea otters as well, but they call it C like the letter.
Right. And, they plan and they fucking, it's like they're playing Rainbow Six Siege or something,
yes.
Everybody get in your fucking positions and let's go blow the doors off this fucking gator.
Like dingoes. Like dingoes are the best hunters, or wild dogs in like Africa are like the best hunters because they hunt in packs and they have this like telepathy almost to them. But otters, I don't know what you attribute to them to make them good hunters. It has to be teamwork. But all I know is they're like, bar none, some of the cutest animals in the world. I want to swim with them so bad. And if you're Jay, you got to give me the stage for a second. If to our listeners, if you're out there right now doing that fucking thing that everyone does or one person does every time someone says that they think otters are cute, if you're thinking about being the person who says, but they have a culture of rape and abuse, but shut the fuck up. They're cute as hell. I don't want to hear it. You take that opinion and you put it in the ocean with the ugly ass animals. I don't want to hear it. Otters are so fucking cute. I'm sure they do awful things. And I would love it if they didn't, but I cannot avoid the fact that they are adorable. I want to hold their hands. I know that they hold each other's hands when they're floating so they don't fall away from each other. That seems like a good dude to me. I want someone to hold my hand so I don't float away from them. I'm talking existentially. I'm talking philosophically. No one will do it for me. I relate to these otters with everything except the abuse. Again, it would be great if they didn't. The animal kingdom is a mean place. But these are some cute, mean little critters, and I want everything to do with them. I want them to hug me. Thank you, Jay.
Well said. Well said. And to be fair, I think we share that same culture anyway in our species. I mean, really, you can't deny that, can you?
Yeah, we don't love it. And we also, although I'm not going to call someone who has done that cute, I think I will very quickly distance myself from that person and hope that they are dealt with by the authorities in the proper way.
But yeah, they're not covered in hair on their entire body. Of course, I see your point of view. Like, it's
true.
Easy.
That's true. Yeah, I am, but I don't do those things. So except for my little asshole, that's the only part of me.
Enough with the little asshole and the visual and the God. We're trying to do a podcast here.
We're trying.
I don't know if this is getting us more listeners or the outrage is bringing in the view counts, or if it's going down. I don't know where we are anymore. Everything's upside down. We're talking about raping otters and all this fucking shit.
No, we're not talking about raping otters. I don't want anyone to go out there and rape an otter.
Mikey's going out PSA telling everybody to rape the otters.
That is false information. I didn't say anything like that.
Well, I mean, they could kill alligators, so somebody's got to rape them. That's all I'm saying. Listen, SteveO goes for a swim in the pool with the otters, and they treat him good. These are a couple good boys. They have fun with them. They kind of, they fucking swim up to them. They nuzzle a little bit. It's not until we throw a fish in the tank that we see these things and their dark side come out. And all human beings have a dark side. Yeah, we might have just said some outrageous shit moments ago, and you might be judging us. How could they say such awful things on a podcast?
On a podcast of all places?
Let me tell you, just look at your dark side. If someone handed you a fish and you were hungry, wouldn't you get those chompers out and just chomp away? I know you would.
Wouldn't you? You know what I would do with my dark side, Jay?
What?
I'd shave it.
Like your little asshole. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah.
That's my dark side.
I know,
the sun don't shine there.
No,
I'd shave it right off.
It doesn't. You'd shave it off? You'd shave your asshole right off?
I'd shave my
That's not a good
asshole right
idea,
off.
Mikey. Everybody poops, baby.
I'll report back. I'll tell you how it goes.
You'll report back. Yeah, with your fucking
Hopefully
busted colon. Yeah, you report back. All right. We're going to have to send you to that doctor from Jackass 2.
Oh yeah, don't tell anyone, he says to Ryan Dunn after he stuck a car up his butt.
Especially on a podcast. Now listen.
Especially, yeah.
They got teeth, these otters. They got some sharp teeth. We see that. They eat. SteveO goes for a swim. He tries to catch. It looks like he's a goldfish, which was a good tip of the hat there, wasn't it?
And he kind of like keeps up with it. It was really, I love that. The vision of SteveO swimming with otters, chasing a goldfish, trying to eat it was like worth the price of admission for this episode. And then Otter John, who, yes, his name is Otter John. He's like the expert that's with him, says to SteveO like, wow, you'd make a great otter. And I kid you not, SteveO looks at Otter John as though he's like so pleased with himself, and it's adorable.
Yeah. And what you don't see in the deleted scenes here is the shot after of the otter puking back up the fish that he ate into a... And
then SteveO eating it. Yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, well done. Well done. That was very well done.
But SteveO may love a good goldfish, but we all know that SteveO, well, he doesn't really love a snake, does he? Mm-hmm. He really doesn't like a snake. And Knoxville being on set for this episode, he's going to fuck around as much as possible. Any opportunity, he's taking it. We've got a type of viper here, and SteveO looks a little squeamish as they're in the room together with the viper. Now,
they say it's a viper.
They say that, yes.
But it's an Amazon tree boa. Yeah, they ordered it on Amazon. Bezos gave it to them.
Which is not venomous because they can't sell venomous snakes on Amazon. It's
that's illegal. That's illegal, yeah.
But this is a non-venomous snake, and SteveO doesn't know that. He's out in the dark, just like Mikey's little asshole. Why did I do it that time? I don't even know.
I'm in your head, man.
So Knoxville goes in and plays with the viper with them, and SteveO decides at this point, fuck it, I'm out. But Knoxville hasn't even been bitten yet, which is kind of the setup for this, and he walks out of the room, and Knoxville's in there, and I think Knoxville wanted SteveO to witness the bite up close. He still goes and completes the sketch anyway, which I appreciate. Whether or not SteveO's even watching, he gets the bite so that, later he can show his hand and go, look, I got bit. Now it's serious. I've just been injected with venom. They get the fucking ambulance. They get a stretcher and they're wheeling him out. SteveO has no idea. It's
SteveO's upset. And the funny thing is this was supposed to be a prank played on SteveO. Obviously, they think it's a viper. It bites Knoxville. They think it's super poisonous. I think he's going to die. Someone on set forgot to tell Pontius that it was a prank. And you see him in the background and he just immediately looks like forlorn. Like this is a big deal for him. And I feel bad for him because SteveO's like, I knew it was going to happen. You could see that from like he's pissed about it.
Yeah.
And Pontius is like, oh my God, I might lose a friend. And it's very sweet.
Yeah, Pontius, you can tell he's got a big heart. He's got more than just a big heart, if you know what I mean.
Hell yeah.
But Has anyone seen Pontius's dick? Oh wait, that's a dumb question. Jackass forever. I was going to say
we've all seen it, I think. Yeah.
I just want to, I'm not trying to talk the guy down. I'm just saying like we need an official measurement before I can go and make statements like that. Cause I can't just go discrediting the guy, but I'm confident that, if Godzilla would have got hard, I think I would have been impressed is all I'm saying. It would have been it would have been like a real Power Rangers, what do you call the big, the Megazord? It would have been a Megazord situation. Sorry, Mike.
If Godzilla gets hard, someone has to stick their finger up its slit to figure out whether it's even male or female. That's a callback to last episode.
Ooh, the slit, yeah.
The slit. The reptile slit where you find out its genitalia.
Yeah, I bet you got one of those too, don't you?
Let me check.
You shave that too, Mikey?
There, so I shave. That's my other dark secret.
All right, so they get, poison control. We got to take care of this guy. He's wheeling him off on the stretcher, and there's one moment here where I just have to mention when Knoxville is on that stretcher, and he says, "I love you, buddy," to SteveO, and SteveO's like, I love you too, man. You can tell he's nervous because he doesn't know quite yet what's going on.
Yeah.
Knoxville turns around with a smile and says, "By the way, the snake's not venomous," and then he just gets off the stretcher, and it's at that point that I think we get what you referred to earlier as SteveO having a bit of a, I don't want to call it a tantrum, but it's closer to like a Preston Lacey moment of like,
he goes full Preston. This is, you're 100% right. This is the moment that I attributed him to having some Preston-like elements to him.
Right.
But why would he be mad? Do you realize that this prank gave him the moment in his life that I think all of us want at some point in our lives? But the dire consequences of this are too staggering to handle. So we don't actually want it to happen. But the drama of a moment when you're standing there and a loved one gets wheeled by you and you just touch their hand as they get wheeled by and you say, "I love you," as they're wheeled away on a stretcher. Chef's kiss. That's life imitating art. I love that. SteveO got that and was still pissed when Johnny Knoxville was okay. Maybe going back to our earlier conversation, SteveO was mad because he's like, "I'm now the number one in Jackass. I'm taking that role," and he had his all his vision taken away from him when Knoxville got off the stretcher.
Who knows? Who knows what was racing through his mind at that point? But yeah, this would have been, in my opinion, a good place to end the episode because I feel like it was a bit of a high note because you had the drama there. And
I actually wanted more of it. I wanted them to stretch this out a little bit. Yeah.
But that does end the, they have a bit of a chat, like SteveO's hanging his head out of a truck window. I guess he went in there to cool down. And that's where Pontius finds out that he was, totally not in on this joke. And it's a sweet moment, like you said. But our final sketch of this episode, it's moon jellyfish time. And the stings that these jellyfish can give can also be fatal. So there's venom in these jellyfish. And when he dives underwater, SteveO, it's like a minefield of jellyfish here, and SteveO's hopping right down into no man's land. And you see him floating around everywhere, but when he actually gets stung, which he's purposely just like swimming into these things, it's
his purpose is to kiss them, right? Like they stage this as research, which I love how they do that on WildBoyz. Like we need to research these things, so he's kissing them, which is bold move.
Totally. And when he actually gets stung, though, it's kind of anticlimactic because he's underwater, so you don't really hear anything, you don't get a big reaction, but until he surfaces that you'll see, oh shit, okay, he's in pain right now, then he'll go back down. And that's kind of where this goes. I think the part of this sketch that shines is what comes when he gets back on the boat, perhaps.
Yes, I agree. And before we talk about that, the one thing I'll compare this to, or the one other sketch I'll compare this to is, and I use this kind of as a touchstone often, this is a stunt that must have hurt a lot. It takes a lot of balls to do it. We'll touch on that later. But the image of it just doesn't translate how painful it probably is. And it's just like the ice hockey checks that we had Johnny Knoxville do in Jackass season 3, where we're like, this must have been really bad, but it just doesn't convey the pain of getting checked off the ice and landing on it. In this one, the pain of just swimming through a minefield of jellyfish, you just don't see it. So you can't relate to it, or you can't imagine how bad it would actually be. And I think that's kind of what you're leaning on. But no, when he gets up on the boat, I think that's kind of the best part of this. It gives us a good chuckle, eh?
Oh, totally, yeah. Because I mean, he's up there, and now we kind of get to find out, okay, how was it? That's what we're all expecting, right? So he's going to give us that rundown. And I mean, when he's up there, and the first thing he kind of says is, "My wiener got stung," and that his package is now ruined. And I just thought that was hilarious. But he goes into more detail, Mikey. He starts to talk about a stinger going down his urethra. Now, it sounds like he's just joking. I don't think it actually happened that way. But can you imagine if it had? Or if it did?
No, see, here's the thing, Jay. I think what he's feeling is just what saltwater feels like when you have gonorrhea. Like, it feels like he's just realizing he has an STD. Like, it just so happens that when he's wearing a thong, it's all covered up, but his urethra hurts. Okay, I think you caught something in Florida, my friend.
And as they do in Florida, when your wiener hurts, just pour some ammonia down there, rub it around for a bit. You'll be all right. When he pours it on, we get a nice squelch, like a high-pitched squeal that I just did not see coming out of SteveO, and it gave me a chuckle. And I think that puts...
I'd love to ask him if he found out whether that was just gonorrhea. That would be very funny.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but jellyfish actually can transmit gonorrhea. So
okay, yeah, I could see it.
Science.
I could see it. Yeah.
And speaking of that, that's it. Like, this episode is over. It may linger with you, much like gonorrhea, but we have nothing more to talk about.
Or the image of my shaved dark place.
Or that. And as we do, as is tradition on this program, we are now going to talk about briefly our most valuable player and our least valuable player. Mikey, go ahead.
They go hand in hand. I would love to. My MVP of this one makes a brief appearance, packs a powerful punch, flips the stunt on its head, doesn't get enough credit for doing so. It's the stone crab for biting Pontius in the middle of SteveO's line. The comedic timing on that was absolutely perfect.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Like, you can't ask for better than that, really. Like, it made that sketch. It was natural. I loved that it just was like, this happened. We're leaving it in, like I said. Beautiful.
Yeah.
My favorite, my most valuable player of this episode, I almost went Knoxville because just you see him and then you pop a little bit. You're like, fuck yeah, Knoxville's here. But
yeah, of course.
I felt it was too easy. And when I really, really thought about this one, I realized, no, the MVP this time has got to be Manny. Because
I'm very happy you're saying that because I wanted to do this as well.
Dude, the dude swam up to the surface with a 1,000-pound shark gnawing on his arm, held his breath,
not
kept
a shark,
his cool.
A grouper, but point taken.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
Still.
In my mind,
it's like 1,000 pounds of feathers or 1,000 pounds of brick. They're both 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, in my mind, something's chewing on my arm. I don't give a shit what it is. I probably wouldn't have survived that type of situation. Yeah. There's some real like human fucking, stress, cortisol shit going on there, like giving him, superpower strength to do that shit in that moment and survive. And then be so cool telling the story and just be how Manny is. I was so impressed. Like,
and to get back in the water and then play with the lemon sharks. Like he stole that scene as well. He was absolutely fantastic. If I weren't trying to, kind of make a joke about the stone crabs, he was going to be my MVP as well. Yeah,
he did well. Like so well. I can't, I could just go on and on. I'm so impressed with that. It was amazing.
Yeah. He was great. My LVP, this is an easy one as well. I didn't mention it earlier, so this may be coming out of left field, but it makes an appearance in a couple stunts. It's SteveO's bucket hat. Take that thing off. It looks awful. I don't want to see it anymore. It's as gross as the ocean animals. And that goes for just bucket hats in general. We don't need them. Don't like them. They look bad on. If you have a bucket hat, I'm sorry to say it, it doesn't look good on you. And that goes for everyone. They don't look good on anybody. Take them off. Throw them away. Throw them in the trash bucket. That's my LVP.
That's your LVP? Yeah. Really?
100%. Like, SteveO's bucket hat.
You're that upset about it. Like, this is
I could go on. I could rant again like the sea otter thing.
But it's just a hat, Mikey.
It's more than that. It's a symbol of a poor fashion choice and poor life decisions. Yes.
Okay. Are you just jealous because, he's on the show and you're not on the show? And
Jay, I told you not to bring that up anymore. I told you not to rub that in my face, not while the cameras are on.
It's not this again, though, is it? I mean, we could talk about it.
Jay, we will when the cameras are off. But right now, in front of my friends, how dare you bring this up? I'm going to say it has nothing to do with that. And you're going to believe me for now, but then we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to be, you know what? Not going to say it. Not going to say it. Well, let's keep rolling.
Are you sure? Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. I hit a nerve. My LVP, I guess I can talk about that unless you want to. Should I? I can just go now?
I think you should go, Jay. I think you should change the subject.
So my LVP for this episode is all of the Jewish. Hold on, wait, let me finish. Jesus, people, you don't even know what I'm gonna say yet. You don't know what I'm gonna say yet. So just get off Twitter and wait a second. Okay. So my LVP for this episode is all of the Jewish boys and girls who are coming of age and did not have Me First in the Gimme Gimmes featuring Fat Mike of NoFX on bass playing at their bar mitzvah. Go out and get that live album. It's a hoot.
Why, what does that have to do with this episode, the Me First in the Gimme Gimmes? Was that in this episode?
No.
Oh.
Let me explain.
Okay.
So there is a Me First in the Gimme Gimmes live album that takes place at a boy's bar mitzvah. And they play a show.
No, I heard about that. My girlfriend told me about that. She was a big punk fan. Yeah.
So if you didn't have them playing, I'm sorry. I don't even think we can call you a man or a woman at this point.
Probably not.
I don't know what you are.
Bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, doesn't matter. If Me First and the Gimme Gimmes weren't there, you're basic.
Well said. Hey, that takes us to the end of the episode. Remember, though, you can find us online at JackassPod on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, wherever you like to hang out, because we want to hear from you and see what you thought of this episode. I feel like this was an action-packed episode. I had fun with this one, and I'm glad because I think it was the last one you and I had said we weren't really crazy about.
Australia wasn't as good.
Yeah. It's good to come back and feel strong again. And holy shit, man, I can't believe we're already on season 2, episode 6, because that means we've got 2 left? Is this an 8-episode season or a 9?
I think it's an 8-episode season, yeah. And then we've got some big plans for our 100th episode leading up to it.
Oh my God, do we ever? And yeah, that's coming up real fast, folks. So please keep your eye on the feed and keep listening, because we will reveal some of that as we get closer to it. We are so excited, and I can hardly believe we've made it this far. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but wow. Holy shit. It's crazy.
100%. And thanks for all the support. We've been up within the top 500 global reach comedy podcasts out there. We've been going up the charts, and we've made some decent appearances. Everyone's got a podcast, but not everyone has made it that far. So we appreciate the support, appreciate the love, and we hope to continue making you laugh, cringe, think about my dark space.
Yeah,
for
not everybody has one of those either. So
no, of course not.
Yeah, think about it long and hard. And I think that takes us out. Speaking of long and hard, I got some things to take care of. Let's go home. Until next time, when we'll see you for another episode of the WildBoyz. Bye. I'm Jason Wellwood.
Bye. I'm Mikey Aaronworth, and this has been Jackass.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it!